I hope that our little podcast opens people's eyes to, hey, you know what? I could work for a company like this without having a heavy insurance or banking background.
Hello, and welcome again to the Pathways podcast, where we explore different careers in the Quebec City region. I'm your host, Susanna Tang, from Voice of English-Speaking Quebec. Today, I'll be speaking with Jennifer Fortin and Maxime Renaud about their careers at Industrielle Alliance. Jennifer is a customer service agent who has spent 2 years with the company, while Maxime has been there for 7 years. In 2018, Maxime was promoted to team leader. So listen up, as their enthusiasm just might lead you to a career in the insurance industry. How did you get your start in the insurance industry?
In CJEP, we had 2 internships to do. Initially, I applied was for another position. At the moment I applied, they already had someone that they hired. So they actually liked my resume. So they called me back and said, would you be interested in this position? Customer service, group savings and retirement. I went for the interview. Everything went great. Got hired. And that internship did turn into a summer job, turned into a full-time job after CJEP.
And you were promoted too at some point, I guess.
I was. My first 4.5, 5 years were customer service agent. Really, a spot opened up for team leader, and that brings on new challenges. There's no day that follows that's like the previous one. And reason I haven't moved yet is because I love what I do. I love the team we're in. I love the company.
Very nice. Jennifer, I'm going to ask you the same question.
My start in insurance was I noticed that Industrial Alliance came back a lot to look at my profile on LinkedIn, kind of like Facebook, but networking work-wise. So I actually contacted a woman I used to work with, and she was with IA now. And I said, hey, I'm thinking of maybe applying. Do you think you could give me a reference? And she's like, yeah, sure, you'd be perfect for it. And that's how it all started. I went through the interviewing process and I was hired, and I've been happy ever after.
Jennifer's experience with LinkedIn is a great example of how to find a job using social media and networking. Next, I asked them to share more about their education and training.
So I went to St. Patrick's High School. I continued in the English. I really loved doing my studies in English. Much of my friends were going to St. Lawrence JIP as well. So I applied for the PW Sims business program. It's a 3-year program. So administration, finance, accounting, that's what you study. As Jennifer said, it's not a prerequisite for what I do today, but get a little bit of background. PW Sims business program. Obviously, I can recommend it to anyone who wants to go into the business world. That program opens up a lot of opportunities. May that be in accounting, is that in insurance, a world of possibilities. And obviously, after that, join university. So if you get enough grades, you can actually do that and get credited some university courses. So your university is less long.
And how about you, Jennifer?
I'm going to be very, very open about this. I don't have my high school diploma. I went to French school and I struggled a lot with French. When I finally said, you know what, it's not going to happen for my high school diploma, I went to study to become a chef. So I have my diploma as a chef. I worked many years in restaurants and eventually started my journey through clientele service. So for some people out there, find school difficult and think that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to have a fulfilling career or whatnot. I just want to do a little shout out that, hey, you know what? Schooling is great. It's awesome. It's important, but don't put yourself down and don't think that you won't have like many opportunities just because you don't have the big university diploma.
Right. To echo Jennifer's comment, there are many different pathways to success, including vocational schools, where you can learn trades like becoming a chef, pharmacy technician, or mechanic. There are several such schools in Quebec City, and one where you can train in English, the Eastern Quebec Learning Centre. Now, let's hear more about a typical day at Industrielle Alliance. I want to move on to getting a sense of what it is you both do. I know you said each day is different, but maybe there are still some things that are a little more regular.
There is still a routine to what we do. What I meant by every day is different is you get to meet different characters, different situations. And even after 7 years, you see something new pop up every week. So it keeps it exciting. But for my part, what my job as team leader consists of, it's really like a supervisor. So early in the day, I'll get out our statistics for the previous day, to see how we performed. Did we reach our objectives? Not maybe what can we do to reach them today. I'll also have the task of helping our customer service agents with any questions they would have, any difficult situation. There is also part of the job which is a bit less fun to have to look at complaints and address them. So luckily for us, we do have a great team and those situations don't arise a lot. If not, I do also help our manager with sometimes interview processes, listening back to calls for appreciations. So support to the team, support to the manager, support to our clients as well.
And how about you, Jennifer?
As a customer service agent, I'm on the phone all day. So you have to be comfortable with that. So me and Max were in the group savings and retirement division. So we don't really deal with the insurance aspect. That would be another division, right? Okay, so for us, we have mainly participants that are calling in to speak about their pensions or their funds in accumulation before they take their pension. And these are all programs that are offered to them by their employers. So I'd say that a big chunk of the calls that we get are based on people who call to make a withdrawal from their RRSP or DPSPs. Some people call in because, you know what, they're buying their first home. And it does sometimes get a bit difficult when we fall into different provinces and we're talking about different laws as to whether or not some people are allowed to withdraw some sums. So we do have tasks that are a bit more daunting. So that's pretty much an average day. So it is a big hodgepodge of different activities, which makes the days interesting because it's not repetitive.
So, what would you say is the most interesting thing you do at work then?
For me personally, it's speaking with different types of people. That keeps you on your toes. Sometimes you'll get some people that are very, very friendly. Sometimes you'll get people that are very stern. Sometimes you'll get the person that's very, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here and I need to be reassured. And plus, a lot of times people, they call in and you know what, they're not having a great time or going through something difficult in life. And they tell you their story and you get to maybe just put a smile on their face by being kind to them. One of the tasks we do as well, unfortunately, is we have people call in to let us know that some people have passed away and they need to go to the executors of the will or whatnot, and we need to go through the process. So I'd say you get to help people in their grief a bit, and I'd say that's the most interesting and a rewarding part of this job.
So let's do the opposite now. Like, what is the most difficult thing you do at work?
I'd say the most difficult part, unfortunately, is when you get some not necessarily irate customers, but more customers that are difficult. Some people are, when it comes to money, are very, very, I don't want to say less strict, but it's something that's very stressful for them, I think. And when something doesn't go their way, they don't process it properly. So when they call in, there's sometimes some shouting and some name calling, unfortunately, sometimes. So I would say that's the most difficult part for me. I tend to take these things very, very personally, which I should not. But being somebody that like me, I find that it does not happen often. But when it does happen, I need a little 15-minute after to go take a breather. It's a 98% versus 2% bad callers. So it's not a big issue.
Absolutely. So every customer is different. Sometimes the answer is not perfect for the customer. So that's something that we do have to manage as well, to manage their expectations. When those type of callers call in, before they talk to me, unfortunately, sometimes they do talk to an agent and aren't as polite as we'd like them to be. So it does affect sometimes our morale. So another part for me is to address that morale, bring back the agent and reassure them that there's nothing they did wrong, that we're going to handle the situation.
Maxime is extremely good at that. He's our soothsayer. Breathe in, breathe out. And no, he does an exceptional job at that.
So, what they are saying is that being good at customer service means being able to handle difficult clients, and that often comes from experience. Next, I asked them where they had developed those skills.
I was working at a grocery shop previously. So I was a bag boy, which eventually turned to being a supervisor there as well. It's not the same type of job, obviously, but it's pretty much there that I started to talk to customers, try to provide a good service. Even though you're just packing, you do talk with the customers, small talk, and basically you get the feel of what people enjoy as energy. If you're coming on too strong, you get a feel as well of nonverbal of the customer. We don't have right now while providing customer service over the phone. When you do it in person, you can see the nonverbal and the gest. So if you say, hello, how are you doing? And the person is like, doing good. You're like, okay, well, he doesn't want to talk. So I'll just pack his bags. But I guess, Jennifer, you might have a more interesting background than myself.
I think customer service comes from the person you are. It's not a question of being a good person or a bad person. It just really depends on what type of personality you have. Some people are more reserved, some people are more outgoing, and some people are just more tuned to other people's energy. For me, I was bullied a lot as a child. And I think that to me, it made me a very, very sensitive person. So with age, it came where I always wanted to make people feel good and take care of them. So for me, I think that's a big part of why I am very good at customer service is that I'm always trying to do as much as possible to make sure that the situation is resolved, done properly, and well taken care of. I think one of the big events in my life that brought me to really enjoy customer service because I was doing something really incredible was I got to do 6 months in Afghanistan with CFPSA, which is troop support, taking care of the Tim Hortons over there, the ice cream shop, being there to support our troops, support other countries' troops as well, being able to put a smile on their face whilst being away from their family and loved ones, being there to give them a shoulder to lean on when needed, provide them with goodies, and being able to say, hey, you're not alone. Your regular folks are here with you, supporting you in this really trying time for you. So that to me was a big eye opener, and it really, really helped me to develop a keen sense of customer service.
Note, we are featuring these jobs in customer service because they use English frequently and daily. But it's also good to know that there are many other jobs at IA where English skills are highly valued, including business analyst, financial security advisor, communications advisor, recruitment advisor, and management. This is because IA has offices and serves customers across Canada and parts of the United States. Here, Maxime talks about the importance of bilingualism while working in Quebec City.
All that customer service is done in Quebec City. So that's why we do elect for bilingual agents, so that way any agent that works can take any call from any member calling in across Canada. But it's also a service that we offer to our Quebec people, so it's good for them as well, because we could have only unilingual agent and say, well, our service in French finishes at 5 today, but that wouldn't be good customer experience. So having bilingual agents can allow us to provide a great service throughout the day and a uniform service.
When you say you're looking for bilingual speakers, is it more that they have a stronger English or a stronger French?
Just that they can provide their service and are comfortable in both languages. So we do know that it's you can't be as comfortable in both languages. You always have one that you prefer. But for us, it doesn't matter which one is your first language, which one is your second language. As long as you're comfortable and that you're able to speak clearly in both of them, that's what we look for.
Final question.
What advice do you have for high school students?
I think the most important thing, honestly, and it's do what you love. That's a broad reference, but I'm saying if you start a job and you don't feel well there and you don't fit in and you're not sure it's not a really good fit for you, and it's okay to search for something else. It's important for you to find where you belong. I don't believe in the whole, okay, well, you need a career, you need to advance, and you need to be at the top of it, and you have to make a lot of money. I think there's a lot of pressure on, well, the pressure existed even when I was young. And that's how I was. I was like, okay, well, I need to have a set plan and I need to know what I'm going to do and where I'm going because this is how it's supposed to be, right? And at 20, at 30, I have to have the house and the husband and the 3.5 children. And it's important to take a breather and make sure that you find where you belong. And I wish I had known this earlier on, but at the same time, no, because I wouldn't have found my way to where I am right now. I have the opportunity and I'm lucky enough to have a job that I like it very much, but I love who I work with and I love the company that I work for, which is so important. You have to remember that most of your life you will spend at work. If you are not happy or you're miserable, even to the place where you have to go to every single day during the week, like 5 days a week, it's going to be very, very long. So this is my only advice to you is take your time and find where you belong, because in the end, it's going to be so much more worth it than going pedal to the metal to get the big job, the big career, the big money, because you have pressure for you and from outside sources, or it's what you believe is supposed to be done. So just do what you love. If that's what you love, if you like being under pressure to the max, that's awesome. Go, do it. But do it for yourself. Whatever you choose to do, make sure that you're comfortable and happy with it.
And that's all for this episode. Thank you again to our guests, Maxime Renaud and Jennifer Fortin, for sharing their thoughts and experiences. We would also like to acknowledge the Government of Canada for funding this initiative. Listeners, stay tuned, as additional exciting interviews are in the works. This is the Pathways Podcast. Signing off, until next time.